All right, guys, the watch list for Thursday, February 25th. Let's look at the SPY real quick. Now, if I take today's candle out of it, right, we're at the top of a range, and then we put in a red day, and it looks like, hey, we're going to start falling. And then we gap down. So let's put today's here. We gap down all the way, and the SPY opens at 190.63, goes down another $1.30-ish from there, only to reverse and close at the highs. This goes to show you that there's nothing etched in stone in the market. Anything can happen. A lot of people were probably thinking this right here, this move from here to here was a short squeeze, right? Because the market's weak and shorts piled in, and this was just one of those bear market bounces, bear market rallies, and now we're back to oblivion. And then next thing you know, we grind higher all day. So there's just no predicting what the market's going to do. You can only trade as you're watching the market and make sure you're not fighting the market. That's the best way to do it for me. So log in every day with the SPY always on a chart to make sure I'm not fighting it, and then I look at the individual stocks to trade. All right, so that's the way we do it, and here are the stocks that are interesting for Thursday. This one actually, as I look at it, is a little bit less interesting because I had this on Bounce Watch today, and it just made such a huge move that it's interesting as a long because it made this huge move and then a couple days down, but to me, it already needs to rest for a while. So I have it on watch, but you kind of have maybe a 2-hour flag there, 15-minute candles here at the end of the day. So maybe it's interesting over today's high, but I don't really want to take this long after this sizable move. So keep that in mind. But we'll keep WATT on watch. Maybe you get a red to green or something that gives a little bit better entry. Weight Watchers, I believe, reports tomorrow after the close. Double check that. Very strong rally in the afternoon. I got one trade in this thing today, and I didn't trade it well. I ended up $90 plus on Weight Watchers when I should have been up huge. Took my eyes off it when it gave the best setup, which I'll show you here. Once Weight Watchers gets moving, it is clearly above the high of the day, and you're not at lunchtime. That's important when you're a trader. Time of day really matters. So then it makes a nice move. Look at this clean pullback into what we call in the chat room the buy zone, which is between this red and blue line. I don't like to go by a single line as support. I like to use an area, and so my area is between the 20 and 8 period moving average. So this little window in here is what we call the buy zone. Look what happens. It actually goes down and hits the 20-day little tail, puts in a nice little green 5-minute candle right there in that buy zone, and that was it. That was the low of the pullback, and then it went crazy. I missed that, but it's still hopefully a good lesson when you've got a strong stock that's interesting. Very clean pullback. You notice on lower volume too, the volume was declining. That's a great buy there on a 5-minute buy setup. Having said all that, here it is on 60s. So it just took out the recent highs from the other day. Remember, they have earnings again tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm going to trade this at all, but I will be watching it at the open. To me, if you're going to trade it, the trade would be probably in the first 30 minutes. So keep our eyes on that. All right, that's WTW. And what you're going to see here is a lot of things are extended in the short term now because the market made such a big intraday move. So days like this are very tough to come up with a watch list for the next day because a lot of things are extended. All right. Anyway, so we've got NAT. This one had this crazy move here, pulled back, another really big move, and then consolidating. And just like everything else, there are a lot of other stocks. Pretty big move today. But if we switch to 15-minute candles, you kind of can picture a cup and handle here. So up over today's high. Might be worth a shot because this one really moves nicely when it moves, but like the others, not in love with it. Tomorrow's going to be a day on more centered on gappers, okay, because of the big market move. A lot of times after a big market move, the next day is just a really quiet day. So tomorrow is going to be all about focusing on gappers that we find in the pre-market, okay. SEMI, this one popped, little 2-day flag there, and then pushed up again. And now you've got kind of a 2-day high right below $7. So I do want to watch this one. Here's the switch to 15-minute candle. So you can see it here. I mean, you had the basically 7 here, a little bit lower. This gets back up through 7. This one just feels like it's coiling. So it's still worth watching. All right. VHC we had on Bounce Watch today, and it just goes back on Bounce Watch tomorrow. Closed slightly above its open. It did bounce off that $5 area. Switching to 15-minute candles. It did go red to green right here. We mentioned the idea, and it did push up for a decent trade. I didn't take it, you know, and then just did nothing the rest of the day. But this one might be worth a potential long tomorrow. Again, I'm not bullish on the chart, but you know, it's pretty beaten up. This thing about a week ago was 720, and now is down here just above 5. So that goes back on Bounce Watch for tomorrow. FSAM, big volume spike here. Couple days lower than today, and a little tail yesterday and today, and kind of a nice narrow green daily candle. I like it over today's high, say about 326. Put that in my notes as I'm babbling here, 326. And when I put a price in my notes, then when I set up my charts for tomorrow, I will put a line on my FSAM chart right at 326. Gives you that quick visual. You don't have to look it up and remember, you know, what price. When you're looking at an intraday chart, which I will be tomorrow, you don't necessarily remember that 326 level, okay? So a line on the chart really helps. VLTC, now this one is just sideways, but you had this massive pop here, another pop here, a failed pop there, but then a huge move there, and it's been quiet, and then you had a big pop the other day, and now straight sideways for a week. This is one I'm not going to trade unless I see volume coming into it, okay? These low price, low float stocks in a weaker market, they're not the stocks to trade. Now, if you know, if the SPY continues to bounce, you might see some interest come back in these. So right now it's just on a chart. EYES, you know, this felt extended, and then today gapped down, closed about where it opened. I'd like to see this come in another day, but remember, they've got that, they're on that HBO special Friday evening. So tomorrow's Thursday. I'd like to see this come in again tomorrow, and then I would look for maybe a rally on Friday. But I am going to just go ahead and throw it on watch for tomorrow, just in case it gives a low-risk setup. And then lastly, well, I thought I had one more in addition to, okay, let's just see here. FIT. This is just looking for an oversold bounce. Again, I've been trading for years, guys. I don't look at this chart and think, hey, this is a great bullish setup. All right, this is just an oversold potential bounce tomorrow. You see me do this in a lot of my videos, right? I look for oversold bounces. FIT certainly meets those parameters. All right, even just a few sessions ago, this was 1675. It was as high as 52 back in August. That doesn't really mean anything to a trader, but still, at some point, you'd have to expect buyers might say, okay, this is overdone. So let's put FIT on Bounce Watch. And then I do have one other one in my notes, this TROV. I traded this twice today, made money both times. Ended up like plus 400 on TROV on 2 trades. And looking at the daily now, this does look a little bit extended. I don't like to go long something that where the moving averages are down here. They got the 8 and the 20 there, where it's kind of this far away. But you did have this massive move back here. This was on long watch today, and then it gapped, so I switched it to a gap play. And again, got 2 trades out of it, but never really could get going. It is interesting, though. Let's go to 15s like I like to do. It is interesting over 520, but it feels extended. I'd like to see this one pull in for a day or two, but I love the chart. And they keep putting out good news as far as inking deals with different healthcare providers, if I have that right. And so this one is interesting. Again, I'd like to see it come in a day, but if volume comes in, this one could go up and take out today's high and then maybe retest 6. So the chart's super interesting because of this volume spike back here, and it's starting to gain some momentum, a little bit of extra volume today. So let's keep our eyes on this one, maybe over 520. We'll have to see. Like I said, I'm really more anxious to look for gap plays tomorrow, but hopefully some of these will pan out as well. All right, I'm going to quit babbling. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.